Good morning. My name is Tracy Saunders and I'm an audiologist with Hearing Solutions. I work out of the Humber River Hospital Clinic and that is in North York in Toronto, Ontario. Today I am going to be answering some of your questions about hearing aid batteries. So for the first part of the video, I'm just going to speak about hearing aid batteries, the disposable kind. So some of you probably know that nowadays we have a lot of rechargeable options, which are wonderful, but still we have a lot of disposable, traditional hearing aid batteries out in the market. So that's what I'm going to speak about the first part of the video. Now, the biggest question always about hearing aid batteries is how long do they last? And it's a really important question because it will set your expectation on how many batteries you need and how often you to be prepared to change them. But the reality is it's a really difficult question to answer. The reason for this is because the range is probably about 3 days to 10 days. And there's so many factors that control how long hearing aid batteries last. For example, it's almost like saying, how long will my tank of gas last in a car? I mean, that's a really hard question to answer because we don't know how much you're driving, how often you're driving, what type of conditions and roads you're driving on. So it's the same case with hearing aid batteries. So they will last, the traditional battery will last anywhere from 3 days to 10 days. And what determines how long in your case the battery is going to last will be a number of factors, such as what size battery do you use, how many hours a day are you using your hearing aids, how powerful your hearing instrument is, the degree and severity of your hearing loss, the conditions that you're wearing your hearing aid in also. So much to consider, and the probably best thing I could say to you, if you want to nail it down a little bit more on the 3 to 10 day answer, is to speak to your hearing healthcare provider, and they can try to give you a better estimate based on all those conditions that I've just explained to you. Now, some people ask, how many batteries should I have on hand or should I buy? I would say most patients of ours do like to buy them in bulk. That just kind of has you always prepared with new batteries on hand, and also has you, it gives you some cost savings when you buy them in bulk. Okay, so some tips on batteries. So again, we are speaking mostly about the traditional batteries, not the rechargeable kind. So some tips that I'm going to give you is when you take a hearing aid out of the package, it's going to have a little sticker on it. So I'll try to show you an example here, though the hearing aid batteries are kind of small, but they mostly come with a little sticker that you peel off, and then the battery is almost ready to use. It's not quite ready to use because what you really should do is let the hearing aid battery breathe for about 2 to 4 minutes. Now, traditional hearing aid batteries are called zinc air batteries. And it's a chemical reaction between zinc and air, or zinc and oxygen, that allows the battery to start, well, to become activated and start working. So by giving it that breathing time, it allows the good amount of oxygen to get in and to get the chemical reaction started, so you'll be able to get the best life out of your battery. We also do recommend washing your hands thoroughly before you're handling your battery, because any oil could get into the little holes in the hearing aid battery, and the holes are really just intended to let oxygen in and nothing else. So if dirt or grease got in, then it could also lessen the performance of your battery. I think most of our patients know this, but sometimes we do forget. It is very important to turn off your hearing aid when it's not in use. So what you want to do is always open the battery component or battery compartment of your hearing aid, and that turns off the hearing aid and reduces the drain of the battery. I will say, though, something that patients are always quite surprised to learn is that the moment you peel that sticker off the battery, it does start draining. So even if you don't use the hearing aid at all, and you put it, you took the sticker off and you put it on the counter for 3 weeks, after 3 weeks, the hearing aid battery would be dead and you didn't even use it. So please remember to only take the sticker off when you're ready to start using the battery. Batteries do have expiration dates. So you should always check and make sure you're using a fresh pack of batteries, and try to, if you do have them in bulk, try to use the oldest hearing aid batteries first, so you're always using the ones with the expiration date closer to today's current date. We would want to always store batteries in just a cool or room temperature place, so keeping them in your car is not a good idea. Just keeping them at room temperature or a little bit cool place is great too. Okay, so moving on to some other questions. Those were just some tips. Now some other questions. How do I know what size I need? So for disposable batteries, they come in 4 different sizes. And I'm not sure why we kind of overcomplicated this at some point in the audiology world, but we chose 4 numbers that kind of have nothing to do with each other. If we had maybe just done like 1, 2, 3, 4, it would have made a bit more sense, but we didn't do that. What we did is chose funny numbers. So the smallest battery first is the size 10. It's also color coded, so we have numbers and we have colors to further complicate things, but you really only have to remember one, either the number or the color. So size 10, these are going to be your smallest hearing aid batteries, which typically will last the least amount of time. I will actually also mention while I'm here, many, not all, but many hearing aid batteries come in these sort of dial packs. So you do have to take the hearing aid out from the back. There's a little tab here, which you open, and then you'll spin the dial pack so that it appears where the tab is, and then you can just drop it out onto your hand. So 10, again, is the smallest, yellow. The next bigger size up is the 312, which I will tell you is the most common battery size these days. It is also indicated by the color is brown. It is actually the same thickness as the size 10, just a little bit larger. So going up from the 312, we go to the 13. Oh, it's showing up as yellow, but it's actually orange. I'm sorry about that. So the size 13 is the same diameter again as the 312. It's just thicker. So it's a bit of a bigger, fatter 312. That's the 13, which is orange. But again, I apologize. It seems to look yellow today, but I promise it's orange. And the really big, powerful guy, which I actually showed you a little bit earlier on, is the 675, which is blue. These are the biggest ones, only used in hearing aids that go behind the ear, the bigger hearing aids that go behind the ear, which we call BTE, or behind the ear hearing aids. All the other sizes that I mentioned, the 10, the 312, and the 13, can be in different styles of hearing aids, whether it's the ones that go behind the ear, again, short form BTE, or the ones that go inside the ear and are custom made, and there's no part that goes behind the ear. Okay, so how do you insert the batteries? So as I said before, there's a sticker that comes off. So the sticker, which I've already pulled off here, and I've actually got it attached to the back of my hand because that's what I do. I put them somewhere on my skin and then I find them all over my house later in the day. So you take it off and you've got it off the flat side of the battery. So the flat side of the battery is called the plus side. That's entirely flat. And then the other side kind of has a little bit, it's kind of a little bit raised. That's the negative side. So I always kind of say there's the flat side and then there's the side that has the bump or the raise. And it does always matter which way you put your hearing aid battery into your hearing aid. If it's upside down, it's not going to work. So you're going to want to speak to your healthcare professional or take a look in your user manual. It's always going to show you which way to put the hearing aid battery in. Now, inside the battery door of your hearing aid, there always will be a little diagram that will instruct you which side of the battery should be facing, so where the plus side should be in the little battery door component. But I will tell you that it's a very small little diagram, hard to see. So if you have great eyesight or magnifying glass on hand, that would help. Or again, just consult your user manual. That's going to have a lot of handy information there about the batteries. And it will always tell you which size battery you need for your particular hearing aid. Nowadays, I would say all hearing aids are sold with some batteries included. So that's another way for you to always remember which size in your case you have. And in terms of disposing of the batteries, here at Hearing Solutions, we do welcome our patients to bring them back into the clinic. We store them in bulk and then dispose of them. There are some places on hand, I can think of Staples and IKEA, that do allow you to dispose of your used batteries there. So it's definitely better for the environment that they are not thrown in the garbage, or that they are disposed of in a safe way. Speaking of the environment, in the past maybe 5 years or so, rechargeable options have become very, very popular in the hearing aid world. So rechargeable batteries are certainly taking over a bigger portion of the BTE, or behind the ear market, for many reasons. I would tell you that patients sometimes would struggle with changing the battery. They are teeny tiny little batteries, the size of almost like a little baby aspirin, even in the smallest one's case. And they're hard to manipulate and hold and put in and take out and remove the sticker. It requires a good amount of dexterity. So I would always say that I've, over the past 11 years of being an audiologist, when I tell most patients that they're going to have to change their hearing aid battery every week, their reaction is always the same. And it is basically them saying, every week? That's crazy. I don't change any battery every week. And it's true. It seems crazy, but the reality is hearing aids are very sophisticated, very smart, very fast, fully functioning computers, and they do require a strong battery to allow them to perform in all the environments you want them in. So to make things a bit easier, the hearing aid industry caught up with some other technologies like cell phones and computers, and have come out with a lithium-ion rechargeable battery, which is so wonderful, because the days of worrying about your battery dying in the middle of a meeting, or being in a situation where your battery dies and you don't have backup batteries, or just the nuisance of having to change them, worrying about the environment and how they're disposed of, all of those things have been helped now that we've got rechargeable options. So the lithium-ion batteries that are in rechargeable hearing aids, they last about 18 to 24 hours on about a 3-hour charge. Now again, same as disposable batteries, I can't tell you exactly how many hours your rechargeable battery is going to last, because it depends on your usage, the environments, your amount of hearing loss, how much streaming you're doing. Yes, hearing aids these days stream from many Bluetooth devices, which is nice, but back when we were using disposable batteries, it would drain the battery quite significantly. So the rechargeable option is really nice for any patients who do want to have the luxury of taking an entire conference call through their hearing aid and then walk into their living room and the TV starts streaming through their hearing aids, and then they go into the kitchen and they can, through their hearing aid, tell the coffee pot to start making a coffee. So all these things do drain the batteries, but the rechargeable batteries are awesome, and they do last, like I said, about 18 to 24 hours. So I'll just give you an example of one little rechargeable case here. They come in lots of different shapes and sizes, but what's nice is that at night or whenever you're not using the hearing aid, you just plop it in the charger and it automatically turns the hearing aid off, typically in most cases, and then when you take it out, the hearing aid turns on. So you don't even have to worry as much about the whole turning on, turning off as before. Okay, so I hope I've answered some questions about batteries. And if you have any more questions, please do comment on this video and we'll be happy to answer further questions. I'm sure I haven't covered all the topics and all the questions that we have, but I hope I've given you some valuable information about batteries. And please know that at Hearing Solutions, we're always here to help you with any and all of your healthcare needs. Have a great day, everybody.